Hello there, people of the internet. This is not an older video. This right here is just us at the old gun range. I'm doing some visitation with family members. I was not really expecting to come up here and do any video production, but hey, I have some time to kill, so I figured why not go ahead and film some stuff on the old range. Now, I did not bring up anything to shoot, so I kind of got to deal with what it is that I actually have here at this range. My options are quite limited because most of my stuff I brought to my new living location. I moved away from here, moved away from the old range because this area is getting a little crowded, but today's not too terribly bad, so why not grab the camera and do a little bit of filming. This is something I have up here that I've shown off on the channel before, but it's been a little while since I've shown it off. This is a little 38 special Derringer. This is a really cool, unique little gun. Not a whole lot of, how do I want to say this without making people upset? Not a whole lot of practical application in the modern times, although it could be used into practical, or it could be pushed into practical application service if necessary. But there are definitely better options out there than this right here. This is a little tiny handgun that my father got from a friend of his. And that friend had this as their defensive firearm for the longest time, and they ended up upgrading to, I think, like a Ruger security model of some kind. I'm not entirely positive about this one, but after that, my father got his hands on this. I'm not sure if he traded it or bought it or whatever the situation is, but I know that this is one of those things that has been around for a very long time. As a matter of fact, if you go back and you look at some of my oldest videos, I think this was like the third or fourth video that I made that I put up on this channel. So it is on the channel. We just haven't seen it in a very long time. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the benefits of a little Derringer model like this right here. So there's a couple of downsides. Of course, the biggest downside is going to be capacity. You only have 2 shots. In this particular case, I literally only have one 38 special round, so we only have 1 shot. There's kind of a 50-50 chance if you only have 1 shot as to whether or not it's going to go off. You can kind of look inside of your hammer mechanism to gauge where that hammer is going to hit, but it's a little on the tough to tell kind of side. But other than the capacity, these right here can be quite potent little things, with lack of better terminology. One of the huge benefits of these little Derringers is that because of the solid breech block of like it being built directly onto the frame itself, these are incredibly strong little actions. You can shove a lot of horsepower into one of these. As a matter of fact, I've seen little tiny Derringers chambered in 4570, which is an absolute behemoth of a cartridge that you can shoot from a little tiny handgun. Now, unlike something like a revolver with modern manufacturing and modern designs and things like that, revolvers can take some pretty gosh darn beefy rounds, but they need an adequate amount of metal. They need to be made of proper kinds of metal. Of course, this right here needs to be the same thing. But with the revolver, a lot of the pressure and whatnot is like on gears and teeth and cylinder that rotates and things like that. This is just a much simpler design, which is why if you have incredibly powerful cartridges, you can still stick them in a significantly smaller little gun. With modern designs and modern metallurgies and modern technology and whatnot, we can fit like 357 Magnum and 44 Magnum and things like that inside of some pretty small revolvers. But as you start getting to more and more powerful things, like for example, there's revolvers out there in 4570, you start to need larger and larger revolvers versus something like a Derringer, which could be quite small. They're just, like I said, very, very strong actions. With them being extremely simple, like you have your 2 little barrels right here, and then you have your breech face and your 2 little firing pins that come out. With how simple these things are, there's nothing that can really go wrong with them. If you think a revolver is going to be reliable, revolvers are quite reliable. But something like this right here, there's basically a dead certainty, unless you have like a broken firing pin or something, that this is going to go off. These oftentimes are also quite compact, unlike something like a revolver, which needs like a cylinder that rotates, or a semi-automatic, which has a slide that moves back and forth. We can pack quite a bit of punch out of one of these things in a very small package. They kind of remind me of like the Remington rolling block, just the way that that is designed. You can have a really tiny little receiver inside of that. Well, with this right here, there's no cylinder to rotate, there's no slide to move back and forth. It is literally just the barrels and the breech face that are built directly onto the frame. You can have a nice tiny revolver, or not a revolver, a nice tiny Derringer that, like I said before, still packs quite a punch. This right here is actually quite a deal smaller than, say, a revolver chambered in 38 Special or 357 Magnum, but still kind of chambered in the same cartridge. One of the big benefits of it. I wasn't gonna add this one in because it's kind of cliche, and I don't necessarily like adding emotional things into a discussion where we're basically talking about like pros and cons, but I'm gonna go ahead and add this one in there. This is a double-barreled pistol, and that's just cool. If you got yourself a double-barreled shotgun, those are pretty cool. I'm not gonna discourage those by any stretch of the imagination, but if you showed up with a double-barreled pistol and a double-barreled rifle of any kind, those tend to get some looks. Anytime I break this thing out, people are like, oh my God, look at that double-barreled pistol. It's just one of those factors that is cool. It's neat. People find it neat. I find it neat. So, okay, I don't think I have anything else to kind of say and add with this thing. I just wanted to talk about it on camera because this is one of those things that I've always just been absolutely fascinated by. It's so small, and it fires 38 Special, which is not a particularly hard-hitting round, but out of something like this, man, this thing kicks like an absolute mule. Very simple, very strong action, basically like bomb-proof. There's not much that can go wrong with this thing. All right, let me grab my one single 38 Special round. This right here is a hand load done by me. Hopefully I did it correctly and I wasn't drunk, because I just so happened to find this like inside on my table while I was cleaning things up. And I was like, ooh, a 38 Special. I should go make a video with that little Derringer. And so here we are. So actually I see my steel out there. Let me go set up my steel. I'm gonna see if I can hit it with this thing. We're at about 30 yards, so probably not, but we'll give it a try. Okay, I got my steel set up. We got our one single round of 38 Special. No idea if this is the cock that's gonna actually make it fire because of the mechanism in here. Kind of hard to tell. But we got one round of 38 Special. It's very unlikely that I'm gonna hit this thing, but I will try. Man, the grip handle on this thing is just so tiny. I tell you what, guys. Ah, she did not fire. Okay, hold on. Let's see if we got dimple on the primer. Well, our primer's getting dimpled. Let's go ahead and try that one more time. Let's give it a shot here, see if she goes bang. My hands are like wet and slippery. There's very little chance that this is gonna hit. Ah, she still did not fire. Well, we're smacking our primer. I guess we're just not smacking it hard enough. Let me try going right here. This ammo is a little on the old side. I had it stored on my table in a trailer for like a year. So there's a possibility that this might not even go off. Let's try it like this. This will probably go off now. with gusto. Shit. Well, I guess this one's not gonna fire. Yeah, we are smacking our round plenty hard, but it's just not going off. Here I do have, technically I have 2 rounds of 38 special. I do have a second round here. I was gonna save it for a short, that's why I said I only had 1 round, but let's see if this one goes off. We'll try it in this video. Oh, no. Well, guys, looks like this one right here is just not gonna fire. I wish I had some more appropriate 38 special, but yeah, this stuff is just a little too old, and it was left in the elements in Florida. I'm not surprised to see it hit fire, but that was still cool. It was fun to bring this thing out. I wish I had some actual 38 special. I might scrap this video, maybe not, because honestly, this was fun to show off. So I hate to disappoint y'all, hate to leave y'all with a couple of blue balls there, but I'm gonna have to. Don't feel bad. I feel the same way. feel like we're a old married couple. Be like, well, that was fun, but didn't get to finish. Thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below is a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.